Let's talk about Claude, because everyone is talking about Claude and everyone is doing magic with it, and most accounting firms are not very comfortable unleashing it, and rightfully so. Let me show you some of the amazing magic that I do with Claude, and then tell you what I think you should do with Claude to keep safe. And then I'll tell you how we can do this together. So every day when I start my day, I have a page like this open on my screen. This is a duplicate of my real one, and all the figures and numbers and names have been randomized, as you can see here. It's literally open on my screen, because if it's not, I start my day and I get sucked into my emails and my messages. So Claude learned to just open it full screen so I can't see anything else. It has a daily brief for each one of my meetings, some research on the person I'm meeting if I don't know them, and our history together if I do know them. In coach's notes, it has a coach in there that is learning about our interactions, or learning from our interactions, how to coach me well. And it gives me coaching notes inside my daily brief on every meeting. My monthly overview with my objectives and how I'm tracking along, and daily wins. And I've got here my news briefs that come in every day on the topics I'm interested in. My weekly content briefs that are actually harvesting my meetings and everything I talk about with everyone. And every week it gives me a summary of, these are the questions people were asking this week. These are the themes that are coming up. These are some new interesting things that you shared one-on-one with people you should share with the world. Very helpful for me, because I tend to forget. And here's my automation logs, because there's a few dozen automations running all the time, every night here. And so it tells me that everything's okay, except for yesterday. There's something I need to check here. And then inside, there's my KPI dashboard, which is a few pages of really interesting bits. My favorite being how I see my profit and loss here. Numbers have been randomized. And accounts, everything has been randomized here. But it organizes it in the order that I like and with the groupings that I like, that are governed by me and Claude, regardless of how it is in my accounting app. Bottom lines are all correct, all the same, but the expenses are organized into different buckets. And the bit that I like the most is these little eyes and questions. So I've got Claude processes for a board, for a CFO, for a bookkeeper, for an auditor. Every night, my board and my auditor review my financials, and they highlight anything that they have a question on. They have a question, the CFO in Claude takes that question to the bookkeeper and tries to answer that question. If they manage to, they just leave me a note here saying, oh, the autumn intake, or let's look at this one. On plan, we moved a few hours from this month to that month, and it's okay. So if there was a question, they found an answer, they leave me a note here. The amber color is where they have a question for me. So the board asked, and this is, again, fake data here, cost of sale lifted in March, what drove it? And the bookkeeper said 2 interstate keynotes, flights, and venue. And then it says, awaiting my answer. So I can go in and say, oh, this was because something, something, something. And then this question will be locked and kept as a note here. There's a whole lot of other things that it does for me here. And it does them just how I like them. I love this, and I think it's awesome and fantastic and phenomenal. I love that I can change it every day, that I can make it do exactly what I want it to do. And every time something is not exactly how I want it, I can go, oh, Claude, let's change that. And we do. Do I think you should do that? Well, if you're a very small business, yeah, it can give you so much power and create those employees that you can't otherwise hire. But if I had a business with 10, 30, 50, 70, 100 staff, I, knowing the power of Claude, would not have given them all Claude licenses. Because you noticed how I am a bit conservative and I just let my Claude get me information. I don't let it go and reconcile my accounting file yet. But I could. There's nothing stopping me from letting Claude do all these things on my behalf, from letting it go and log into websites and submit things on my behalf and reconcile and record and change and send emails. I don't do any of that. I just get it to get me information. But if I had 50 people on board with this power, there's no easy way that I could have controlled what people do with their Claude licenses. On a Copilot license, people are a lot more limited, and there's a lot more guardrails. It would have been a lot harder to create what I created with Claude with Microsoft Copilot. It would have been a lot harder, totally. But also, I would sleep at night knowing that different people in my organization have access to different parts of Microsoft Copilot that's capable to do certain levels of AI agency, and not too much, not more than what I'm comfortable with. In our AI Within BAL Club, I show everyone exactly how I built everything I built. And because there's a lot of interest in Claude now, we're starting a Claude training stream on top of our Copilot training stream. In our in-person event coming up in Melbourne and Sydney, we'll focus mostly on Copilot. But we'll have a quick look at these things, just so that everybody in the room understands how it works and where things are going. If you want to join us in the club, in bal.com.au/AI club. And if you want to work with me in person a whole day in Sydney or in Melbourne, coming up in August, in bal.com.au/events. I'll see you there.